welcome back to another episode of the Tenerife Pod, sponsored by BGR Solutions. I'm Ginny T, your host, with my awesome co-host with me today. We have Steve Ballard.
Hello.
I feel like your voice cracked a little bit there. Are you still ill? Is this the man flu?
Yeah, I'm losing my voice a little bit. I'm also really discombobulated because I'm kind of not sat in the right seat. I don't know where I am.
You've done all three seats now. You're the only. It's like musical chairs for you in here. Because while you were out, Jenny was in that chair, and I've stolen your chair today.
Yeah.
Do you win a prize if you? Anyway, and of course, you've already just heard him, Chris Elkington.
Hello.
How are we, guys?
I'm okay, thank you. Very well.
Good stuff. Obviously back with another pod. I've had quite a lot of stir from the last one, but we'll talk about that in just a moment. I just want to talk about something, guys, because I've had time to think, and actually I feel like you put me on the spot a little bit last time with this whole favourite footballer thing. And whilst I still agree that David Beckham is glorious to look at, I want to change.
Have you found someone fitter? Is that what you're saying? Have you gone for David Ginola?
I think some people would probably think he's fitter, but not me. Cristiano Ronaldo. And I'm going to tell you for why. Again, it's nothing to do with football. Okay. So on my radio show, The Morning After on Oasis FM, every morning I do something called Feel Good News. And he often appears in my Feel Good News stories because he does so much good stuff. So one of the stories, it was a few years ago, I think it was like 2014, a family had contacted him. Their child needed life-saving surgery, and they contacted him and said, would you donate a pair of football boots so that we can auction them off and raise some money? He donated the football boots, but he also paid for the surgery himself, and then got them to keep. And then there's just so many other things, like he doesn't get tattoos because he wants to be able to donate blood and bone marrow to save lives and things. He's constantly doing great things. Even down to I think one time, you might be able to know more about this because it was an actual incident, a football went into the crowd and hit a child, and he went over to the child and gave him his training top and stuff. So my point is, I changed my mind. Cristiano Ronaldo is my favourite footballer because he just seems like he's doing good stuff.
And he actually isn't a bad footballer.
He's pretty good. He is pretty good. That is true. He is pretty good.
And a good role model.
And also as well, he has, I don't know if you know this, Jen. You'll know this, Steve. He has the best statue to him in Madeira.
Right.
So Madeira government built, or the FA or whoever built, because he's from Madeira. He's not actually, he's from the island of Madeira, that's where he's from. And they built a statue to him. And it looks absolutely nothing like him, does it?
The teeth are all wrong. They're like, no.
It's hilarious.
Really beating up. It's the most ridiculous thing.
I've seen it. I've been to it. We went on the Thompson cruise around the islands that went to Madeira. I saw Chibs went there as well. And you can visit it, and it unfortunately is not a very good representation. Put it this way, it's not as good as his
waxwork.
That's the word I was looking for.
The waxwork.
Well, but fair play, Jen. Good choice. We like that. Fair play.
Do you remember, he did that thing? He had the after-match thing, and then he had a bottle of Coke in front of him. They were obviously advertising, and he moved it out of the way and got a glass of water instead.
Do you know there's a few though? I mean, Sadio Mane used to play for Liverpool. He sends home a percentage of his wages to support families in Senegal. In Senegal, he's built a school and built houses for them, and Didier Drogba famously in the Ivory Coast did the same thing as well, where they send a lot of money back and
Marcus
build
Rashford
stuff.
started the school lunches in the UK, didn't he? Free school lunches.
Exactly. So they have a platform. So if they can use it right, there's very few actually footballers who tend to have no scandal. Harry Kane's a good one as well. If you look at Harry Kane's life, he's never had any scandal whatsoever.
It's really boring.
Well, I just wanted to. It's been keeping me up at night, so I just wanted to change my mind.
You'll sleep better.
I will sleep better tonight. Right, let's crack on with
better
the
reason than Beckham, anyway.
Yeah.
Right, let's crack on with the Tenerife Pod with the ultimate topic. Stevie B, I'm coming to you.
You're not coming at me this time.
I'm not coming at you. Let's talk about the weather.
Well, as we know, we had a double whammy of storms with Samuel first, then Therese. Therese wreaking absolute havoc in places. What's been really interesting about this is the disbelief of people saying that there's no storm here. We talked about this many, many times. So as the Storm Therese moved northwards, the actual amount of water that was dumped on the north of the island was probably more than we'd seen in the south.
Yeah, Santa Cruz,
Santa Cruz, and La Laguna as well. It was pouring down the steps.
La Laguna was a lagoon.
It was the reason it's called La Laguna is because it's now literally La Laguna. So it was. And the interesting thing as well is this has been reported in the UK press, but people still don't seem to believe it. That alert system that makes that really loud noise on your phone for major incidents happened. The red alert to phones was sent in the north to say to people.
And what was it? But it was for real this time, as opposed in the past. It's been simulations.
We've had 2 tests, I think.
It was for real in the northeast of Tenerife and the metropolitan area, which are the areas you're talking about, and also in Canary yesterday as well.
Yeah, so these things were happening. So it's not fake news, and it's not, and then we saw deluges of water literally breaking up roads and the rock slides and everything else. So all of this has happened. The incident with Tourbus, with people having to climb out of the roof, that has gone viral, of course.
Yeah, there's been some nutty videos, hasn't there?
That's not AI. The amount of comments that people are saying that
they were rescued, by the way, and they were fine. The fire brigade, when people were saying, "Why are they filming and not calling the fire brigade?" The fire brigade were already on their way. It was
and long ladders were put down because there was a bridge over, so they managed to get them to climb over the bridge and over the barrier, and they were rescued. The good news is,
come on, bring it.
That things are settling down. It's going to be far more normal. Therese is actually moving up to mainland Spain.
Sure? Well, 2 weeks ago, Jen went, "Steve, does this mean the weather's going to get warm?" Do you remember that, Jen? Do you remember that?
I was like, "Is this a turning point? Is this it now? Am I going?
And what did Steve say?
Yes, basically yes."
Steve did a classic Michael Fish moment, saying, "I can assure you that there is nothing going on with the weather. It's going to calm down, and we're going to get better." However, looking at the relatively long-term forecast, which is only about 14 days, for the next 14 days, it's settled.
Yeah, they're actually saying that the Easter period is going to be summer temperatures.
Yeah,
brilliant.
That's what they're forecasting. But just a footnote before we move on, the Prime Minister of Spain, Pedro Sanchez, has actually declared the Canary Islands as an emergency situation after Storm Therese. Now, that doesn't mean that we have got restrictions or anything like that. It means that resources will be channeled here, whether those are human or financial, to put everything back, to repair the roads, to get everything back to normal, if you like.
Because you have to remember, moving a 15-ton boulder is not something that can be done with a forklift.
Well, the one yesterday, did you see the road collapse in Santa Cruz, and 3 cars rolled down the hill onto other cars and so on. And if you know, no doubt you've seen the videos of the Plaza de Charco in Puerto La Cruz, which was flooded, and some of the ravines and different valleys.
I saw a car somewhere in the north. A wall of water basically came down like a waterfall. It was in front of a petrol station as well. It was really dangerous. But I just saw this car get picked up by the water and zoom, and it was gone. Now,
and the wheelie bin.
Yeah, and the wheelie bin, of course. I don't know what the insurance implications are with that. I don't know why I would say to my insurance company, or whether they'd even say, "No, you can't have the money back because it was an act of God," or whatever. So it's good to know that the Spanish government are aware of the situation and aware of how serious it was, and it was serious. So as much as we can laugh about it and all the rest, there was serious implications. People were evacuated, homes have been damaged, and now we're getting to the point where things will start to dry up. The other good point is we've had so much rain. The reservoirs are 77% full in some areas, completely full in others. So in terms of our water shortage that we've had for so long, it's pretty much over. So
we shouldn't see a hose pipe ban or anything this year. We should be okay, we're able to get to the beach this weekend.
All the important stuff that we can do can go back to normal, yes. And the beaches are being refurbed as well, because obviously the waves were taking sand off and things like that. So the councils of the Cabildo have been working really hard to get beaches back to normal.
Well, that's great. Thank you. We will come at you for another update when
it's raining again.
Incidentally, that is the beaches or the areas of the coast that the council look after for tourism as a priority.
Yes.
This isn't the areas where stuff's been washed up, rubbish has been washed up, and this is why people like Canary Green, who we've got someone in later on, organise the beach cleans they organise, because these areas are suffering as well, and the marine life suffers. So yes, they're doing the priority on the areas for people to use, which is fair enough.
Yeah.
But obviously, manpower, there isn't enough to cover everywhere.
Yeah. Like you say, we're going to be getting onto that very, very soon when we're joined by John very, very shortly. But before we do any of that, there has been a lot of talk about something we talked about on Monday. Was it Monday?
Yeah.
Pam Gwinnett.
Yeah, she's taken it very personally, and to a certain extent, I'm quite pleased about that because I've had another threatening letter from her, email from her, telling us to take everything down and that we are encouraging people to find her and abuse her. That's not true at all. I'm not encouraging anybody. I'm asking people to support us in working with the authorities to do the right thing, which I know Steve's going to update because I think the House of Commons were talking about on Monday. But the single thing I've been asked more than anything, Jen, is she a resident? Has she got a TIE? Because if she came here in October and she's not a resident, because to be honest, everything she's quoting with me is UK law. Apparently she's going to start legal action with UK law against us, which is ironic. I'm not quite sure how the UK law applies to us and not her, but that's a different conversation. Yeah. But if not, if she's overdone her 90 days, then she has to go home. She's here illegally, allegedly.
Sure,
let's put the word allegedly in there.
Power of attorney for Joan, then surely she can't be a resident, right? So
it's an interesting question, isn't it?
Well, she was living in the UK. She was a resident in the UK, so I would assume. I don't want to assume, but I would intelligent guess that she is not a resident of Tenerife, which is why she ended up here quickly. Yes, she's got an NIE number because everyone who buys a property has to have an NIE, but that's not residency, as we've spoken about before. But I believe, Steve, that there's been some talk in the UK government about this.
Absolutely. The Speaker of the House of Commons, that's the chap that says order, Prime Minister's questions and keeps everything calm, a very senior member of the House of Commons as well. Labour MP Sir Lindsay Hoyle, he's the MP for Chorley, which is Joan's constituency, and he has called it outrageous, demands justice.
Can I just point something out, Steve?
Yeah.
We are quoting here other people of what he's said. We are not targeting this. This is out there. This is what has been said in Parliament and has been reported by all media outlets across the UK.
So I am specifically reading this from Sky News, who broke the story originally and broke the video of her originally, including the outside of where she lives. That was Sky News.
And showing the notice board with the name of the complex.
Yeah, absolutely. So Sky News really, really broke this to everybody and sort of pushed it into everybody, including Sir Lindsay Hoyle, who said, outrageous. Here she was, I'm quoting directly from Sir Lindsay Hoyle, here she was, found guilty, sentenced to 6 years. What a way to have your sentence, in the sun, in Tenerife, lap of luxury. He also said, I'm asking why the extradition order needs to take place now. Enough is enough. Let's get on with it. Quote, end quote. The Speaker also thanked Sky News for their investigation, for making this internationally recognised a serious news story. And
it seems to me that little old us in Tenerife, maybe she believes we're an easy target.
It certainly could be. It's certainly that I can't imagine her single-handedly taking on Sky News' lawyers for a start, because you can imagine...
They're in the UK.
Absolutely.
They've shown where she lives. They followed her to her door. They asked her the questions. It is their film crew that she wrote to me saying that they identified themselves as Canary Weekly. Yeah. Now, I've spoken to the film crew. I've spoken to Phoebe. And they did not identify themselves as Canary Weekly. So
that's a false claim for a start.
That is a false claim. So that makes me, obviously, or you have to then say what else is a false claim.
Absolutely.
So this story is not finished, Jen. No. It will be ongoing.
It is very interesting. It will keep going, because we were talking about a Proceeds of Crime Act hearing. There has already been something
in January,
on this
wasn't it?
footnote in January. Yeah. So £350,000 is the amount that she has been asked to pay back, also told to pay back.
Ordered.
Ordered to pay back in 3 months. So we are, for the hearing, we're around about 2 months in to that. If it's not paid, they will add 3.5 years to the existing sentence. So there's a potential there for 9.5 years if she does not pay the money back. So I can't imagine how any of this is not true, or, all of this has happened. And so Lindsay Hoyle is saying the extradition order needs to take place. Enough is enough. Let's get on with it.
Okay, well, as before, keep supporting, keep sharing, keep spreading the word, and hopefully by the time we do the bonus set, we've got some more news and some more positive news. Steve, can we talk about some events that are taking place?
Yes.
So I know one that you just mentioned about before we went live.
Yes. And I'm not talking about us. The circus is in town.
Everyone was like, "What's going off at the Winchester this weekend?"
Or Australia's.
No, the circus is here. So the circus, they've been here before. The posters are up, and they are starting their first performance is going to be this Saturday. They are.
What date's that?
The 28th.
So that is the same day as
Up and Fun
and Canary Green
Canary
Beach
Green
Clean, and it's also my father's birthday. I've got to wish.
a
I've got to wish
day.
Jav happy birthday, Dad.
Happy birthday, Jav.
What a weekend that's going to be. So 6 o'clock doors open, 6:30 start. So you've got enough time to get to the Up and Fun, to do the Canary Green.
Well, ideally, you do the beach clean first.
Yes.
Yeah, build up a bit of an appetite for a bit of food and drink and relaxation at Up and Fun on the roof. And then when that finishes, because that finishes at 6, which means then you can shoot down to the circus. What a Saturday.
That is a day and a half, isn't it? That's like what Saturday dreams are made of.
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
But yeah, so the circus is in town.
Where is it?
They call it the Parking del Duque. But if you go past the Playa Real Hotel, as if you're heading towards the motorway, it's the big car parking space on the left-hand side.
You can see it from the TF1, can't you, on the way to and from a decky.
And there's a fair bit of car parking out there.
There's
as
a
well.
bit of parking.
That's something that always stresses me out.
It's the one where they do the festival with the paint, the Holly Festival.
Yeah.
You know, when you get covered in paint and they've got the fire engine. It's that one. So
I've actually been to a
parking.
circus there before.
Was that the Aqua Circus? Because I went to the Aqua Circus.
No, I think it was the one before that, perhaps. I can't really remember.
Also, interestingly,
the animal one.
That is the staging area for the Tenerife Rally. You know where they do the rally driving? That's the staging area where they start and they go up through. It's really interesting.
There we go.
Fascinating.
You found that really interesting, didn't you, Jen?
Just don't start asking me what my favourite rally driver is. But I don't know. Like, stop throwing me into... I'm going to ask you, who's your favourite ballerina? Who's your favourite makeup artist? Right, obviously this is something we've mentioned a couple of times now, and we mentioned it on the last pod, on the bonus episode. Canary Green bringing the beach clean this Saturday, which is another thing that's happening. And we have John Beckley from Canary Green joining us now. Hi, John.
Hey, hi,
welcome.
Jen.
How
Thanks
are
for having
you?
me. Yeah,
oh,
really excited to be here.
Absolute pleasure having you here today.
Thank you.
I'm just going to say something. I was telling my son about the beach clean and what they do, and he's learning about at school at the minute, sort of like environmentally friendly stuff. And he's like, I really want to go. And like he has dance classes with Steve and stuff. So I'm like, you can't, I'm afraid, but. He wants to go on another time, which I know you're going to talk about and we will get into. So you are from Canary Green. You are the founder of Canary Green, would I be right in saying? Yeah. And you basically, well, tell us what is Canary Green and what it is you guys do.
So I started Canary Green 5 years ago, and basically it's trying to speak to the English audience here in the Canary Islands and that are visiting here, and we're trying to direct them towards sustainable options. And so we build a directory of hotels and activities that are not harmful to the environment and are responsible. And then also we have local restaurants and local businesses. And so we try and direct the tourism towards this with integration with culture of the Canarian people. And then we also do beach cleanups. So that's what we're doing. We're trying to just help get this energy around change.
Okay, but obviously it sounds like something that's very important and a very hot topic at the moment. Let's break it down. Anyone listening that might not quite comprehend what sustainable tourism is, can you explain it?
I don't think we even have to use the word sustainable. It's actually about common sense, isn't it, Steve? It's like... if you think about the traffic we've got, if you think about the housing problem we've got, if you think about the sewage problem we've got with over sewage in the ocean, all these things, if we think about it logically, we can't just keep going the way we're going. We have to think, how are we designing this product for 10 years, 20 years time? And if we can start thinking and behaving like that, then we can start making changes as a culture. So that means all the stakeholders involved, that the tourists, the local businesses, the local government, the tourists themselves, the expats living here, everyone should kind of take a certain amount of responsibility and get involved, you know.
I don't know about you, Steve. Like we've both said before, we come from a TUI background. And when I started working for TUI, the holiday company, in 2011, that's when I started hearing the words like sustainable and sort of like this kind of tourism model that really wanted to embrace that kind of behaviour. And it feels like since then it's just become more and more of a thing. What do you think it is that's making it so important now rather than before? Or am I wrong?
No, I think it's because it's impacting people's lives. Let's be honest. If
in
you
what
can see,
way?
Well, in traffic, in tourism, in everything. You go to the beach and you see plastic all floating there. It's not nice, is it? So it's now common sense. It's not sustainable change or anything. It's no catchword. It's
And businesses have to consider that, because there is an agreement the governments have in place for 2030 to reduce things like carbon footprint. So airlines, people like Jet2 and TUI, have to think about the impact that travel has and become more responsible in reducing that environmental impact. So companies like that are doing things step forward. Yeah. When I worked for TUI, we were specifically selling excursions, for example, had to have a certain amount of responsibility and sustainability as part of it. So let's say, for example, you're going to a national park. So the impact that an excursion on a large amount of people has on that national park. So when people, the stakeholders, as you mentioned, start to consider doing excursions, how many people, when, how often, because all of that has an impact. So it is being thought about, but obviously more still needs to be done.
But talk about TUI. I did a podcast with Andres Koch, who was the head of TUI Sustainability, and he said, I'll give you one example. We did a study on how the cleaning maids were cleaning the rooms, and they've worked out that they were flushing the toilet 30 times. So you think we've got a water problem here in Tenerife, and something as simple as they were flushing the toilet so many times during a cleaning of a room. And so they changed their behaviour and changed the way they did that, and it made a lot of impact if you think about how many...
I'm wondering why so many flushes, 30 flushes during a clean. But you have to imagine there's at least 6 to 10 litres of water in one of those tanks. So the amount of water that's being used is not sustainable. But also, I think, as the TUI podcast mentioned as well, it's things like chemicals, the impact those chemicals have on the environment. So what are we using as companies? TUI being a part of the Rio Hotels group, they reduced the amount of harmful chemicals they were using and started looking at alternative to more natural products and products that will clean without having an impact on wildlife, because of course everything ends up somewhere in the water courses and in the ocean. So it's about what products they're using.
And one of the big problems that when you talk to people about sustainability, let's just take the cleaning products on the floor. There are eco-cleaning products now, but they tend to be a little bit more expensive. But it's all about economies of scale. Yeah. So if we could get everyone to start buying more eco-friendly...
I suppose this, maybe you've just answered it, but I was wondering, okay, so a lot of people are making changes now. Why were they never in place in the first place? Like, why? Well,
I think we stuck kind of in a capitalist hamster wheel, and we're just running, and everyone's just kind of concerned with their own surviving in their own business world. And I think it's come to the stage now where we need to think about our local environments, our community, and how do we give back and how we are part of it, rather than just taking and squeezing the juice out of it.
And I think there was a certain amount in the years past of denial that climate change was happening. You can use global warming, climate change, they're the same thing. And it was that lack of understanding that these things were happening until science went, hello, we've been saying this for a long time, the temperatures are rising, the sea levels are rising because ice caps are melting, things like that. I know it all seems very scary and very not my problem, but actually the real change that will affect the rest of the planet starts right here.
Yeah. I mean, even if we take something simple like... during COVID, they measured the stress levels of the whales and dolphins, and it came all the way down because we weren't putting boats on top of them all day, every day. And so we could change our behavior. And in fact, we've just done a promotion campaign now, making people aware that certain boats have permission to go there and certain boats don't. And you should look out for the ones that have permission to go there and behave in a way that is laid out for them to behave.
Speaking of sort of like the sea and stuff, like I see this in a lot of times on the Canarian Weekly, there's things reported like beaches, not just in Tenerife, but over the Canary Islands, like being shut down because of like the discharges going into the sea. Tell us, like, how are we impacting that?
Well, there's just too many people here now. Hey?
Right.
So I think we've just overloaded the system, and we haven't invested in the infrastructure to cope with it all. But even that, I think we need to say, at some point, we've got to say, we can't keep looking at growth because it's too much shit going in the ocean. And so we need to think about the infrastructure of the sewage network, and also maybe improving the quality of our tourists coming here, and improving the quality of the hotels. But we can't just keep building more concrete, because at some point it's going to catch up with us.
Right. And in regards to the boats, because this is actually something we've spoken about on the pod before, sort of the boats with the licenses to go to that are allowed to go to the areas, and you say, okay, so people should look into, when people are on holiday, I suppose there's that, oh look, that's the boat tour, they're offering it at this price. It's maybe not something that they would necessarily think about or know about.
Yeah, but all of this is about education, awareness, creating people to know that I don't think 90% of the tourists didn't even know that there was a list of authorised boats allowed to go out.
And also the way to identify those boats, because they have to fly a specific flag, don't they?
But do the tourists know that?
Exactly.
That's what I mean.
So
like,
education is another thing that needs to be done, because cetaceans, that's the whales and dolphins, need to be, it's a yellow flag with the cetacean logo on there, and if that's not displayed, your captain is not licensed to go anywhere near.
What's the logo look like?
It's got cetaceans on it, so I think it's a whale at the bottom and a dolphin at the top, a yellow background, and it's blue in the middle.
We've actually got the official list on our website, which the Whale Heritage site still hasn't updated their website from 3 years ago. So we've got the updated list now, which the interns working with us have organised. So on canarygreen.org if they want to go there.
What do you think are some common misconceptions for tourists coming on holiday? I think maybe they already feel like they're doing their bit when they get into the hotel room, for example, and there's a sign saying, oh, if you want your towels washed, leave them on the floor. If not, we won't wash them.
I think, we've got 20 million people coming here this year, I think.
Right.
And so that's a lot of people. We've got, I think, 1 million living here in Tenerife. So we need to realize that all these people coming out do make an impact, and it starts with choosing the right hotel. Am I choosing a hotel that's behaving in a sustainable kind of way? Am I doing activities that are not harmful to the... And then even little things like bringing wet wipes. I was speaking to Inoceana, the founder of Inoceana. He said one of the biggest problems we have in the ocean is wet wipes. And I was like, I didn't even know there was a thing in the ocean. And that's one of the biggest problems we have. And we can see it now in the wash tub after these storms.
Yeah. Is that because people are flushing them rather than disposing of, or just in general using them?
We're using them too much. I think if you don't have a kid that's 1 and 2 years old, we shouldn't be using wet wipes every day, all day. And
actually, the important thing, and you mentioned it, Jenny, is things like towels. Let's talk about what we do at home. So when we're at home, do we wash our towels every day? No. Probably not.
Or bed sheets. That's another thing.
So that insistence that I'm staying in a hotel, I will have fresh towels every day. You don't really need it. Yeah. And actually, to go a couple of days, if you're here for a week, and on the Wednesday, say the middle of the holiday, that's when you get the towels changed. You've only done it once, not every single day for a 7-day break, because that again is a lot of water being used, the chemicals that goes with the cleaning and bleaching and all of the rest of it. It's such a small change, but it can make a huge impact.
And even if you look at, for example, Mind Hotels and Choleo Lodges, for part of the Canarian Hospitality Group, they give away free water inside the hotels. So people, they can either buy a bottle or they have a bottle. Most people now have a bottle with them, and they just fill it up for free. So we've stopped a whole group of people going down to the local supermarket and buying these plastic bottles.
Single-use plastic bottles. It's amazing. Again, to another mention of them. They were in some of their South American, so in Mexico and Dominican Republic and things like that, they will give you a metal bottle, a souvenir bottle you can take with you. Yeah. And they've got points across different places that you can refill them. I know they've got them in airports now to encourage people to stop using single use. My bottle, I bought this brand of water, don't know which brand it is. This is 3 years old.
That's good.
Because yes, I bought but I've reused it on purpose, and I keep it with me all the time, and it's a very handy bottle. So if you have got one, there's plenty of places to refill your bottles. And again, it's very small, and you think it's insignificant, but if everybody did it, if 20 million people did it coming here this year, it makes a huge impact.
Yeah, and even if you look like in Australia, they really limit which sunscreens you can put on.
Okay.
And like here, we could even have the hotels sponsoring the sunscreen that is eco-friendly. So because like we were just saying, everything everything goes into the ocean and goes out there. So
if someone's listening now and they're coming on holiday, what kind of sunscreens are environmental? Because that's not even something that I've considered myself.
We've done a study with the interns, and we looked at what Australia did, and we've published it on our website. But I personally, and sorry to say, I don't know which ones. But yeah, it's got some certain chemicals that are not good for the water, and we should.
Okay, so check the kind of hotel you're going to.
Yeah.
Bring your own bottle.
Yeah.
Activities that you're doing, make sure.
So obviously, like even with jet skis, like some of the providers are saying, try and research electric engines, because then it helps limit the noise that goes on underneath. Because if you look like the turtle population right along the coastline is limited now. So a lot of it.
I love turtles, and it's like I really would like to, see more of them, but it's something that I don't get to see a lot. And in fact, I haven't seen one for years in Tenerife. Yeah.
I'm lucky because I dive quite regularly as a qualified scuba diver, and so I have seen them. They're not as active as they used to be.
Where do you dive mostly?
So Abadi's.
That's the best spot. Yeah.
It's really beautiful. Yeah. It's the seagrass in there.
It used to be Opotito.
It used to be Opotito. Yeah. What I'm saying, it's a great point about the noise. If you've ever been scuba diving, if you haven't, I'll explain.
I
right. So noise in water travels for miles. So I was on a dive once, 30 metres down, which is quite a long way, and the diving instructor said, listen, boat, because that's the sign for boat. And so we looked up and we couldn't see it. And when we got to the surface, he said, no, I did that on purpose. You want to look up for a boat because you think it's overhead. It wasn't. It was absolutely miles away.
Yeah.
But the noise travels so much, so you can imagine how the noisy engines of the jet skis, the diesel engines of boats, there's ferries and all sorts happening. So you can imagine how noisy the ocean might actually be for the creatures living in it.
Mm.
If we don't start making these changes, if we don't start, applying some of these ideas, where does that leave the Canary Islands?
Well, there was a guy that came out here a few years ago called Nacho Dean, and he did a study of microplastic in the ocean. So I went on the boat with him. So we measured it 1 kilometer, 2 kilometer, up to 6 kilometers out. And 6 kilometers out, he's showing me the filter that you could, with your naked eye, you can see all this plastic on the thing. So he was saying, like, the fish are eating this. We're catching the fish, we're eating the fish. So once it's in this ecosystem where it's in a circle that we can't get out of, that's where we're heading with all this stuff. So I think we need to start protecting our natural resources and looking after it. So we need to start having that mindset. So it's a mindset change that I think we need, a cultural mindset change. Yeah.
With your professional opinion, what's probably the easiest way, or one of the ways that people can start doing that, changing their mindset? And
I think it's also how you look at the problem. Like, a lot of people look at this and say, sustainability, climate change, and then they throw it away like that as a keyword. Whereas what we're trying to do is talk about more common sense, common sense things. And even if you keep coming every year to the Canary Islands, become a sustainable gangster with Canary Green. And then that helps the work that we do. Because what we would do is love not to be aligned with any big companies, but rather the people that live here and come here, and then we can be, without influence, we can just operate and help and do our work that we're doing.
Well, you've just mentioned the sustainable gangster. This is something that I've seen on your website. Tell us in a bit more detail what it is and how people can become a sustainable gangster and what it means.
So when we started publishing we built a directory we've got about 150 companies in the Canary Islands on our directory, and so you can do where to stay, what to do, where to eat. And then we've gone back to those companies and said, if we start a membership, will you give a discount to our members? So it's like a discount card, but it's focused on sustainable kind of activities and brands. And so then we launched Sustainable Gangsters. So people can pay 10 euros a month, or 100 euros a year, or 1,000 euros lifetime membership, and they can get discounts then with these partners. And start doing activities. And then we start encouraging people to want to be a part of it, but then they need to change their behavior and get rid of single-use plastic cups in their restaurant or things like that. And we would love to work with local certificate brands that can certify that they are sustainable. Because at the moment, it's quite hard because no one's doing it. Yeah. So we would like to be on a road of change. And if everyone's on this road of change, then it's almost like Lanzarote's way more advanced than us.
Really? In what ways?
In the way that everyone thinks about everything to do with sustainability and plastic and change. It's amazing. It's amazing how they're all... And I said because we interviewed the head of tourism there, Hector, and he was saying that Cesar Manrique, have you heard of him?
Yeah.
So he was the father of sustainable tourism for the Canary Islands. And he started this whole way of thinking. So it's a way of thinking. It's not just we're going to do this campaign or we're going to do this cleanup. It's actually about when we make decisions, we actually say, that's why I like Mind Hotel and think, because it's not just about what they're doing, it's about their mindset of future decisions. And that's where we want to go with all this. So we're actually thinking about how do we give back, how are we part of a solution, how do we minimize our impact, and all of that.
Are the limitations at Tady and Masca and control of tourists in these places, is this a step in the right direction?
Yeah, I think so. I think we're going to just...
How will Tady go?
Yeah, I think we have to control it because it's just... we can see now with the traffic when... I think local people are just fed up of going to these places which used to be their places to go because there's just too many tourists. So we have to make changes. We can't just keep going like there's no problem and we're just going to keep going. So I think, limiting numbers and preserving the area and making it more unique and... Yeah.
Like if you don't change anything, nothing will change. Yeah. So
but I think that it also starts with we've got to stop looking at our island as growth, and we've got to say better quality, better protecting, looking after. Let's say in 10 and 20 years' time, what's this going to look like, and then start thinking like that and behaving like that.
There are campaigns out there. The government of the Canary Islands, obviously, because taking Lanzarote's lead is. The campaign's about being a responsible tourist, and we're welcoming responsible tourists, and we want responsible tourists. You still got to think about the mindset, as you said, of people going, yeah, but if everyone else is doing it, it'll be fine, I don't really need to. But that's not the case. Is you do need to make small changes. You do need to consider these things. So even when the point of booking your holiday, where should we go on holiday this year? Okay, well, let's do our research properly about where we're staying, about where we're going. Fodor, we spoke about this list a couple of pods ago, and there is an advisory that was misconstrued by the UK press as a no-fly list, but it was an advisory to say to people, just knock it off for a while. That we're advising that we've reached a point where we are damaging the Canary Islands and Tenerife in particular. So think about where you're going to go. They're not saying don't go at all, but have that in your head that you should consider the environmental impact of your visit and 20 million people.
But do you remember Steve Jobs when he designed the Apple products? It was always with the end consumer in mind. And so what we need to do is think, are tourists going to enjoy it if they're coming here and they're walking along and they're getting harassed to get into each bar and they're getting harassed at every point, and it's too much to get parking, it's too much to do everything. It's too stressful. And then we're losing the uniqueness of what makes us a good holiday spot. Yeah. So we have to protect and look after.
And also simple things, like the state of the beaches. People are very quick to put things online about how bad things are. And if we have a situation where there's too much litter, the beaches are not very well maintained or very well looked after because of the amount of crap we're dumping on them, that will have an impact because, and you're talking about future-proofing our islands for tourism in a sustainable way and in a responsible way, because it will get to the point where people will just stop coming.
Yeah.
And we need tourism, you bang on, but we need the right tourism.
Yeah, because if you look at Costa Deji, they're really trying to attract upmarket tourists. But if, like you're saying, it will have a reverse effect long term if we just carry on the way we're going.
I think as like somebody that would be a holiday maker, it can be quite overwhelming thinking, I've got now all these decisions to consider as well and stuff like that. But I think the point is, and correct me if I'm wrong, is if we start making those small changes, they will become like habit when you start looking for a holiday, and bit by bit it will become the norm.
But we can't put all this on the tourists, so it also has to be local businesses. It also, like for example, we go to La Caleta, we do a beach cleanup, we ask a few hotels to support financially, to sponsor it and get involved. So they're running at occupancy of between 90 and 100% all year through because we're so busy at the moment. And they say, no, we're not interested. So we're cleaning the beach in front of their hotel and they're not interested. So this is when I talk about mindset. It should be about, I want to be involved. I want to get involved. If my staff come, I'll give them another day off. That's having a commitment towards that. Because you can see in Kalyasavaki, we picked up all the rubbish in the parking. The parking was an absolute disgusting state. We picked everything up. I came back a month later. It's all back there. And people coming back off the beach for whatever reason are just leaving it next to their car, getting in their car, going, and it's just rubbish left there.
It blows my mind because I've never met anyone that's like, leave the rubbish. Like everybody that I speak to hates the litter and the rubbish. So who are the people that are just leaving it? I don't
think it's people that can leave it there without anyone seeing.
Yeah.
So I think it's also that no one's seeing them do it and they're just doing it because other people have left the rubbish there. So it's kind of, they're getting away with it without anyone seeing. I don't think if anyone was watching them, they would do it.
Okay. I want to get on to the beach cleanup in just a second. I mentioned my son at the start of our chat.
Which school does he go to?
So he's in Los Abrigos.
Okay.
But I know that you did a talk recently with the Costa Adeje school.
Yes.
How did that go, and how sort of receptive were the
Okay, first
the
of all,
kids?
it was with an age group of 12-year-olds, so
Okay.
that's already, like we had this one guy in the front leaning back. I thought he was sleeping, and we haven't even started. It was like the warm-up. So I was like, hey, dude.
Great start.
You got to learn to go to the back, yeah. So, but really good. The energy and the responsiveness, unbelievable. Because we had all of our teams, so we've got 6 people working in Canary Green now that are mostly from universities and interns, and all of them had to explain what they do and why they're doing it and why they're studying this topic, and the kids were really up for it, really engaging. We're going to do a video with them, I think, with the school now, showing what they're doing as programs, and because they're doing quite a few little things. And we're also organising a beach cleanup with the school next year.
I think it's really important as well, because they're the next generation. And when we talk about future-proofing tourism, future-proofing our island as residents here, it has to start with that generation.
100%.
And if that generation are really up for it, they'll, as they grow into adults and have their own children, it will start to build properly.
And I said to them, it starts with you putting pressure on your parents, and it starts when you get kids, how you're going to behave with them. Yeah, it's there. I said, there's no hope for me. And then I said, for us. And then the intern's like, don't put us in your category.
What gen are you?
The children of the future.
Yeah.
Teach them well and let them see the way.
Show them all the beauty they possess inside.
But how old is your son?
So he will be 8 next month.
Oh,
and he
okay,
actually, so his teacher, they do one trip a year. The teachers, I think, get to decide what they do, and a lot of the teachers went to the circus or went to shows and stuff. His teacher, Victor, he did a beach clean in Los Abrigos, and my son still talks about it now, and even now when I go to the beach with friends, he'll be picking bits up, and so you can see after that one event and that kind of one thing that he learned, it's in him already. So that's why he was quite excited when I said I was talking to you today, and he
good.
It's really
Well,
good.
he's at that age now that he's still listening, and my son's 17, so it's at the age that's totally everything's against anti-dad.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
No, see, my son is going to listen to me always. He's going to always want to give me cuddles.
Yep.
Oh, don't. Right, let's talk about the big beach clean this Saturday. You've just kind of mentioned a few details about it, but just go into it again, because somebody listening might go, actually, we want to come and help, or we want to be part of this. Tell us about it and what you kind of expect from this Saturday.
So it's in Playa San Juan. It's from 10 to 12 this Saturday, and it's actually good timing because after the storms, I don't know if you know Playa San Juan Beach, you've got the parking and all the water comes through, so it's all dirty and everything like that.
And that water would have to go somewhere and down that.
I was just speaking to the divers now from in Oceania. I don't know if you've heard of them, and they were just diving now. There's so much rubbish at the bottom of the water there. So we're trying to get the local dive company to come as well and join us and to do so, because I was just saying there's a lot of rubbish underneath that's been washed in from the storms, and also on the beach. So we've got 70 people booked for Saturday. We've got Chaleo Lodges are sponsoring and making sandwiches, and we've got Ocean Beer sponsor our beers. So we've got some beers, we've got some,
Fantastic.
What's that made of?
This beer's awfully salty.
To go and do something like that, is it just a case of you can turn up and start cleaning? Do you have to get permission?
Oh, it's a nightmare. Yeah,
tell us about
we've got to
that.
get permission from Costas, from the government, from the local town hall, and they're all terrible at responding. And really, we applied for this beach cleanup on the 1st of January.
Wow.
And yesterday came through the
why do you think that is? Why, when somebody goes asks for it, because I know it's about licensing and for events, and you have to pay for that as well. That license isn't free.
Yeah, it's free.
Oh, it is free.
Yeah.
Okay.
They wanted to charge us. Last year they tried to put a fee of €55, and then we said we're going to stop. The other beach cleanup companies as well said we would protest and not do it.
But it amazes me that groups of people like yourself and Canary Green, 70 people, 70 volunteers, happy to give up their time and do, for the benefit, the good of the local area, and still the delays in getting a It's
just a signature on a piece of paper.
Yeah,
you
I
would
don't know
think
why
they
you
would-
would spend such a long
But
time
this
not
is-
just saying, yes, of course, absolutely, here's your license. If I was in council, I would go, here, have the license.
I think something like, here's like a blue Peter badge, like, don't need to ask us anymore.
Yeah,
Just
that's
go ahead
it.
and do it.
Here
We
is your
trust you.
lifetime
Yeah.
permission to have these activities whenever you want.
But when we talk about cultural change, and all of us, not just the tourists, but the local government needs to think about all this stuff in a different way. I think before they think, that's our job, you shouldn't do that, leave it to us. They think like that. But we need to say we're all in this together, and it should be like we could if we could organise permissions, we could rally, even with Oasis Radio and Canary Weekly, rally a group of people to go down to the. Did you see the videos on the Los Americas beach with all those? We could rally people to come with those sticks to pick up the tissues, and we can get 100, 200 people there that cleans that up, because it's hard for the government sometimes to deal with things like that. So we could have an emergency response reaction from the community that can help. But I feel they don't want to ask for the help. They feel, I don't know if it's a bit ashamed. I don't know what the feeling is, but
there's not competition, is it?
Yeah.
Like you say, we're all working together.
Yeah, it should be synergy. It should be that we're all together, and that's why I always talk about, like, all the stakeholders have to be involved, not just the tourists, or not just.
I don't know if they do anything like this here, or if you know about it. So in the UK, my mum is one. She's a womble. Do you know what that is?
It's a very English thing, that is.
So when she retired, this is something that she just really wanted to do. She's basically a volunteer litter picker. So she gets supplied with the stick, the grabber. She gets supplied with the bin bags and the gloves. And she goes out whenever she wants to, fills up a bag, then lets someone know where the bag has been left, like normally near a bin. And then the council come and pick it up. So that's obviously, she had to apply for that, and she had to fill out some forms.
But
do they not do anything like that?
No,
here?
we tried to launch something called plugging, which is when you walk, you pick up rubbish, and then share photos with it. That didn't take off at all. But because we didn't start out as a beach cleanup company. That wasn't at all what our mission was. But what I found was that at the end of a beach cleanup, when you've got sandwiches and food and you're having a beer and everyone feels good, there's such a good community feel. And I wish the local government would come down to that moment, because you can see it's about togetherness.
You want them to see that. This is the result of what happens when you say yes to things.
But it's not. It's not for us. It's not just about the rubbish we pick up, because it'll just come back if we don't change our behaviour. So we've got a professional photographer coming. We make videos. We have a drone. So we really take care to write blog posts, to talk like now today about this topic, because it's all about education and awareness. And
you mentioned businesses. Is there any way it could become a team building exercise?
Yeah, so one of the ideas we want the beach cleanups to evolve is that if we come into a town, we want to make it an annual event, and then we want all the local businesses to sponsor a meal or a haircut or a gym membership for a month. And then when you bring your rubbish bag back from the cleanup, we would give you a raffle ticket, and then we would do a draw there, and then everyone from the local village gets something, and it's done
Great
like
idea.
that. So
it is a great idea, but it's a shame that people would need that incentive to do it.
no, but it's not just, it makes it fun.
Okay.
We actually did it in Palma a few years ago, and it worked really well, and it just takes a lot of time and energy to communicate with the local businesses, to get them interested. They're going, what are you talking about? Like, I'm not, yeah.
Well, I mean, if there's a platform that gets to a few people on the island that they could hear or see. Wait a second, what about this? Yeah, if you want to get involved, come and get involved and let us know, or canarygreen.org is the way forward.
Yeah, so obviously you've got the beach clean this Saturday, but you've got a few in the calendar, is that right? How can people find them, and tell us some of them?
So if you go to our website, we've got Ocean Cleanup Project, and you click on that, and then we've got all the dates, and then it links to Eventbrite, and you just register, and you can come to any of them.
Where are they?
So we've got in Las Gaetas, we've got in Palmar coming up, we've got in Los Cristianos, Calio Savaji. The next one is in the north. I forget the name of the beach. We do Porus again. El Medano, yeah. El Medano just got cancelled because of the bad weather. We had the yellow alert last month, and we didn't get permission in time. So,
wow.
But we kind of cancelled it at that last week when normally the permission comes in. Yeah.
Well, I've loved chatting to you today. I would just like you, if you can, to take this opportunity. If there is one thing that you want anyone listening, whether that listener is a holiday maker, whether they're a business owner, whether they're a resident or a visitor, what would be like one thing that you would really want them to take away from today's chat?
Sometimes people feel you can't make an impact. And I would like to say that you can make an impact, but it just starts with small things and how you behave and how you think and how you, like even getting involved with Canary Green. It's €10 a month, but maybe if you only come here a few months of the year, at least it's helping support something that keeps it looked after, you know, and we've got such a great team that's volunteering for us, and we need help. We need financial help with everything we're trying to do. But everyone can make an impact. They've just got to look at themselves, and if you've got a small business, how can my small business help?
Thank you, John. Is there anything else you would like to say?
No, thank you for having me. I enjoyed this, yeah.
No, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you. So we're coming towards the end of the Tenerife pod, and I suppose we should finish with a what's your favourite?
Ooh!
And I know, I didn't...
Did I get a little bit too excited? I got a little bit too excited about that.
And I've not prepped you guys on anything.
Does that mean, right?
I'll come and share with John.
Does that mean if I'm put on the spot, Jen, and I don't like my answer, can I change it? Because I think that was a bit
Change
naughty.
it next week.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
We better explain to John what it is.
Okay, so on every pod, John, we do a what's your favourite. So we've had a what's your favourite, like roast dinner in Tenerife. What's your favourite
footballer? Yeah.
Since we've been talking about the beach cleanup, I want to know, what's your favourite beach? Do you have one?
I do, and I
Here
already...
or anywhere?
No, it's a Tenerife pod, so let's go beach in
Well,
Tenerife.
I have to say, and I've already mentioned it from diving it, going in and out off the beach, Abad is a beautiful... It's very small, it's very local, it's very villagey. The whole place is really villagey.
Where is it?
So if you head past the airport and keep going as if you're going north, it's about second on the right, and it used to be where the old leper colony was. All the old buildings and there's an old church and things like that. But it's beautiful.
Have you never been there?
No.
Oh, take the kids, they'll love
It's
it.
amazing.
I tell you what, it featured on the last Bourne film. The opening of Matt Damon was here filming of the Bourne movie.
Yeah.
That's where they filmed it, because they actually do military exercises there in the past, haven't they?
And it featured in a Matt Smith Doctor Who episode as well.
It did.
It was, really, really cool. But it's a great little beach. It's got a lovely little square with a couple of little bars and restaurants. And also, if you're a scuba diver, amazing diving.
Best place, yeah.
As you've visited a lot, John, what's yours?
On the spot.
The Bama beach I like.
Oh,
it's got the white. You know, I'm from South Africa and we've got white sand, so I prefer the white sand.
Yeah.
Whereabouts in South Africa are you from?
Durban.
Durban, never been.
Yeah, it's a surfing.
And
Diego Hernandez, the nudist beach, which is a bit of a walk to get to, but that's always got nice waves to body surf.
Good views.
I like that. And good views, yeah, if you stand on the top and look down. Yeah.
Lovely. Go on then. Oh,
Go on.
Mine.
Well, me, I do me. Now, you see, I don't like the beach.
Too sandy.
Hang on.
Seriously.
I just feel like Chris hasn't had a
Seriously.
chance to moan enough today. Come on, let it out.
Siam
Chris's
Park.
therapy
Siam
session.
Park is my favourite beach. Genuinely.
Good one.
Because do you know why? And seriously, the sand doesn't stick to you.
It's
It
true.
is the way they've designed that sand, and also don't forget, you're unlikely to be disturbed by a man trying to sell you sunglasses. The bar is a very short walk away. The waves are artificial, and Shakira likes it because she does music videos.
She filmed there. That's right. No, I'm a pool guy. I must admit, I'm more of a pool guy than a beach guy.
But I think it counts. I think we let you have that because
Siam
it
Park.
technically is a
Yeah,
beach.
it
It's
is.
artificial, but it counts.
Mine, I think, is Del Duque Beach.
Okay.
And because I'm very similar to you. I
Some
don't
good
love
waves
the
there.
beach.
Yeah.
But the sunbeds, they come with the little mattress, so you don't get the sort of digging in your back and stuff. It's quite comfy.
Also,
and quite
I've got to
relaxing.
say, Del Duque Beach, they've got 3 amazing restaurants. They are very difficult to get into. You can't walk up. If you try and walk in, they'll give you a time to come back. It's usually about an hour and a half. But the food and those 3 restaurants and the views are beautiful. Really, really nice.
Yeah, the views
Near
are
a Joy.
gorgeous.
Yeah, it was one of them, yeah.
Yeah, the views are gorgeous. So if you want to let us know your favourite beach and why, we would love to hear from you. In fact, we'd love to hear from you about anything we've been chatting about on the pod today. So leave a comment, subscribe, like, share with your friends, and thank you for listening to the Tenerife pod.